This story was written by my friend Gamma. Cold shouldering it all. Illustrations by me and story by Gamma. The tougher the work, the most rewarding the returns. And when things get tough, the tough get going. No one else knows this better than Shiver, the mint choco chip hyena. She worked as a humble juice saleswoman and ran the business all by herself. From transporting the cart to her usual beat or sourcing the fruits and paraphernalia for her endeavors, it always had to be her. Today looks to be a scorcher. The big heat wave we've been dreading has finally hit the coast of Beach City, with highs of 95 degrees for the next 2 days, warned the meteorologist. So today seems like the perfect day to hit the beach, enjoy a day at the pool, or even just stay in with the AC on and a good book. This was still music to the busy hyena's ears. She had been diligently chopping ingredients and loading her cart before the sun had even come up. Shiver gathered her supplies and moved to the front door of her home, eager to get to the beach. She was already huffing and ready to give out from the hot, muggy air alone. The tenacious hyena put on her game face and marched forward to face the heat. Step after ragged step, she pushed her cart along the sidewalk. She had clearly bitten off more than she could chew. Eventually, she ran out of energy and sat for a moment, tossing some of the ice from her cart into her mouth to cool her off. You could tell just by looking at her how miserable she felt. Wait, maybe I could call Case. He has a truck. She grinned, just happy to have a solution to her little problem. Someone who could possibly give her a ride to the beach and back. She pulled out her phone and dialed the number. Something in her gut twisted with each dial tone that hummed from her phone. "Hey, Shivs, what's up?" The voice spoke from the other end. She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. "Shiver, you good? Did you bum dial me again?" the voice asked. Click. She had chickened out. "No, I couldn't. They're probably busy. I don't think I can bring myself to bother them. Why should a friend have to suffer just because I didn't have the hindsight to transport myself in the middle of a heat wave?" she exclaimed. "You're a big girl, Shiver. This is your problem. Now push onward," she said. Shiver, as a young cub, was bigger than most hyenas you'd see. After all, girl hyenas are the matriarch. A fact she had to learn quickly, as her mother was always busy with work to meaningfully assist her. When she was hungry, Shiver made her own food. When she was spooked by what she thought was a monster in her closet, she shivered, grabbed a torch, and opened the door herself. When she got hurt riding her bike, she limped to get her own band-aids and got right back to riding. Despite this, she looked up to her mother. After all, it made her who she is today. After catching her second wind, Shiver stood once again and soldiered on, putting one foot in front of the other. Trudging forth on her hectic beach commute, she weakly pushed her cart along. Good thing for her, the goal was now in sight. She could spot the gold sand and brilliant blue surf just across the street. Excitement filled her while she came to a stop and eagerly awaited the crosswalk's countdown. Indulging in the moment's reprieve, she caught the last of her breath back. Shiver panted, watching the light dripping in minty sweat. The sight before her was wobbling and warping from the heat. Just a little further and I can get to work. Heck, I can probably get a quick swim in before the sun goes down. Finally, the light turned to a white figure. Giddy with excitement, she pushed her cart off the curb of the sidewalk. Suddenly, a loud crunch brought the giggle dog's march to a halt, the bar pushing right into her gut. Gah! What? No. Come on, go! It's right there! She pleaded, pushing harder and harder, but to no avail. She would run the handle to the other end to attempt to drag it across the sidewalk. Meanwhile, the countdown ticked by the second. The poor girl dragged it along the road, a low grinding noise whining from the cart. Closing her eyes, the hyena growled, tugging at the reins until it, for some strange reason, felt easier. The steady beeps of the sidewalk prompted her to open her eyes and spot Cotton, an ube ice cream bear. Pushing at the other side with one hand, Cotton's other arm was occupied holding his cooler, umbrella, and a towel. He spoke up once they had made it across. "I thought you might have needed some help. Are you alright, Shiver?" he asked. Exhausted, Shiver blurted out, "No! I mean, yes. I don't want to interrupt your beach day just because my cart bottomed out on me. Go on ahead. I'll be right behind you in 2 shakes." "Are you sure? Your cart doesn't really seem to be, one piece." Cotton insisted on lifting the little cart up ever so slightly. "Sorry, big dude. I couldn't let you do that. You're my friend, and I hate to ask such a thing of you, even if it's not an issue for you. It's my cart, it's my drink business, and I need to prove myself I can do it." Cotton sighed in a shrug. He knew this tone of hers and had a feeling there was no convincing her otherwise. "Good luck. Be safe," he said rather dismissively, and began to walk ahead. "That guy works too much. He deserves a nice relaxing day at the beach. He doesn't need to fret over me and my cart problems." She would continue to drag her cart along the sidewalk and onto the hot sand. Shiver proceeded to walk to a nice little spot overlooked by a shady tree and began to ring the bell on her cart and shouted, "Shiver's cold drinks, made from freshly cut fruits. Pop on by and give 'em a try." She looked along the horizon at the crowded beach and noticed that she had come at the perfect time. It was high noon, and the sun was going to be up for a while. Shiver grinned with satisfaction as her first customer came over, then another, and another. A small crowd of thirsty beachgoers had accumulated ready for a drink. After some time, the line had died down. At the end of it was Button, patiently waiting for his turn. "Hey, Shiver, could I get a fruit cocktail medley?" he asked as she was already scooping up some ice. She nodded. Coming right up, while she prepped the drink to be mixed, one of her previous customers hurried to the front. "Hey lady, call this fresh? The fruits in my drink are soggy. Look, it's all mushy." "What? But I chopped them this morning," she said, taking the cup from the patron. She opened the lid to look inside at the mushy, pulpy goop of what she remembered to be apple slices at the bottom, and recoiled. She had made this recipe 100 times before, and it had never turned out like this. Something just had to be wrong. In disbelief, she opened her cart to look inside, only to notice that the ice that was at the bottom had melted, and the fruits she had been scooping were now floating in water. "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, sir. My ice must have melted somehow." "Wait, isn't that cart supposed to be insulated?" Button interjected, tilting his head. "It is. I put it together myself," she said. Button investigated the cart before glancing back to Shiver. "There's the problem. You forgot to put in the actual insulation, so the hot sand melted your ice. Wait just a tick. I offered to help you build this. Why didn't you let me help?" Shiver's eyes looked down, avoiding the sheep, her ears lowering in shame. "I didn't want to make you worry about my cart. It's my business, and I can't just have other people do my work when I could just do it myself. Also, I didn't want to bother you with your plans." "Shiver, as your friend, it's what I'm supposed to do." He patted her shoulder reassuringly. "Friends help friends cover their weak spots. For example, if I never needed to bake a cake and I didn't have an oven mitt, but you did, I'd come to you for help in a heartbeat. After all, you'd let me borrow it to keep my cake from burning, wouldn't you?" Shiver perked up quickly and sharply barked out, "Of course I would." "Then you know if you ever needed help fixing something that's broken." The hyena's eyes widened in realization at the explanation before answering. "You would help and make time for me. Now you're getting it." Shiver gave a sheepish smile of her own. giggling to herself. Though she felt the ground under her become firmer, the color of the sand under her cart darkened from gold to a damp brown color. She caught a glimpse of shimmering moisture leaking from one of the dents on her cart. I guess I'll have to close down shop for the day, given that my cart is ruined. Button patted Shiver's back. Don't worry, tomorrow we can make you a new cart. The two began to walk off the beach while the sun had begun to set. Shiver, now less insecure about asking for help, nodded, keeping pace with her friend. This time together, something changed in Shiver that day. She thought that to be strong meant to shoulder every burden that came her way, that it was a sign of weakness to lean on others, when sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply ask for help. Did you like my narration? What are your thoughts on it? Comment down below and tell me what do you think of the story. This was lots of fun to work on, and I want to thank SpikeyBelmont for giving me the honor of narrating this story. His characters are lovely. And I encourage you folks to make your own Colies and your own stories. Share your art. You can even tag me on my Twitter. Farewell!